Okay, we're good to go. Welcome to episode number 3 of the Verified
Episode.
Podcast. I got Derek and Slark. Yeah, I fucked up. I got Derek and Slark with me again. We're just gonna talk fallout from SummerSlam, the insane moment that just happened at the end of that last man standing match. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Do you want to start with the women's title match that kicked off the show? I believe, Derek.
Sure. Yeah, it was a really good match. Couple years ago, I believe it was Bianca and Becky at WrestleMania, and they had one of the best matches on that show. I think this match was really really good. I loved the stadium. Like I just love watching wrestling events in big stadiums like that. But yeah, Bianca gets the win in her hometown. I believe it was her hometown. And then you see Bailey return along with Io Shirai, and I totally forget the other chick's name. But yeah, Triple H saying, "Hey, come on home." So yeah, I thought that one was really good.
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai, yep.
Yes. I agree. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, did we lose? Yet another
Yeah,
episode where Slark is completely speechless because of something.
I literally was like, "Uh-oh, did my headphones go out?" I don't know if Slark can hear
I
us,
think
but
did
if
we
he
lose you,
can,
Slark? All
damn it.
right, I think we lost Slark. So I'm gonna give my take on this while we're at it. A solid 15-minute match to open up the show. I thought it was great. Pop what I thought was a hot crowd for the majority of the night in Nashville. Now Slark's here twice. Slark, can we hear you on this one?
I believe so.
Slark's phone again.
Hey, there we
All
go.
right.
So you know what
Like,
happened? Is because I
there
opened
it
Twitter
is.
back up.
Slark, can we hear you?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I could hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
God,
Okay,
I'm horrible at this Wi-Fi
But yeah,
thing.
solid match to open the show. Bianca Belair was the right choice to go over. She is a star. She is going to be a star in the future of the WWE. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that match. Great way to open the show. Great match between two of the greatest wrestlers in the company. Slark, if you want to give your thoughts on it.
Absolutely. Sorry. Hopefully we're good now. But awesome way to start the show. Definitely set the vibe for the entire night. And the return of Bailey with Io and Dakota Kai starting this new stable under Triple H's guidance, man. This is feeling like NXT right away. And, you know, what we thought the main roster was going to be when all the NXT people got their call-ups. And we're getting to see new mixes of talent and new styles of stables moving forward. I'm really excited to see what we get out of Bailey's return with Io and Dakota Kai as well. That's awesome. And I loved the ending of the match, how Becky stood up for Bianca. I thought that was pretty cool. So maybe we're seeing a slight face turn right now. I think they'll need to at least turn her more, you know, toe in the line, at least, you know, middle face and heel, because, you know, they just brought in a heel stable. I'm going to keep using the words over and over and over again. I'm sorry. I'm still so excited how this night panned out, and being a fan for as long as I have been, I've not been this like pumped for what wrestling's going to be in the upcoming months in a very long time. So, yeah, awesome way to start the show.
So, segueing to our second match, let's just call it the Clash of Cleveland. Logan Paul and The Miz. Another solid match. Logan Paul is really impressing me in his short time in the wrestling business. There's still some stuff he has to work on, but he's definitely getting there, and he has the natural athleticism and talent it would take to be a solid piece in this company going forward. Do you think he's done with The Miz after this? This was their second match, I believe. Do you think he's done with him? Do you think he's going to move on to a new feud, or do you think maybe we're going to get one more final blow-off match?
I think we're still... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
No, go ahead, Slark.
I think we're still in the learning phase of what we could see with Triple H at the head of creative. So I think some of these matches, and this may have been one, is still fallout from the last days of Vince. So we knew that there couldn't be that many splashes to happen tonight and just rewrite the whole landscape of the company. We knew that wasn't going to happen. So, but this match, I mean, from a athletic standpoint, Logan Paul changed my mind on all of these non-wrestlers coming in and trying to be WWE wrestlers and WWE superstars. Completely shocked me. I tweeted it out. That match made him a superstar. I think we're going to see a little bit more with him and Miz, at least to go into Clash at the Castle. I think that's what the pay-per-view is called.
Yep.
So I think Miz is going to have that storyline go through Clash at the Castle. I think from there we'll probably see a transition from something else. But Logan Paul, man, kid's an athlete, and yeah, just some small things small things he may need to work on. But overall, I thought it was a stellar match and a good second match to feed off of the vibe in the first.
Yeah, I was a big fan. I was a big fan of this match. I think Logan Paul.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, like you said, Slark, the guy. I mean, I know he's an athlete. Obviously, you see what he's done so far in boxing and everything like that. But the dude has come in with a good attitude. I know a lot of people got major problems with him, but I feel like he's kind of changed as a person and as a human being. Now, does that mean give him all the excuses in the world? No, but as far as his time here in WWE, I think it's bright. I think he's gonna have another match with the Miz again. I think it's gonna be probably at Clash of the Castle or whatever the hell it's called. And I think that's gonna keep going. I will tell you this much though, I was kind of pumped. With the whole Tommaso Ciampa thing, and then AJ Styles comes out. I would die to see a Ciampa Styles feud of some sort. That would be incredible. But overall, I thought it was a really good match, and I think the Miz is the perfect guy to use a lot of these celebrity figures with. You've seen it with Bad Bunny now Logan Paul. So I loved it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And for the record, Slark, the last days of Vince McMahon sounds like an ESPN 30 for 30 right there. Let's go that.
I just wrote it without needing to get clearance. I think we just wrote it.
Let's sit down after this tomorrow. Let's write that. Let's sell it to ESPN.
All right. I think we have a couple connections there.
Yeah, yeah. But for sure, great match. My one hope out of this is I'm hoping Triple H will break away Tommaso Ciampa and let him become the star that he can become on his own. Because I think that's a Vince thing, pairing him with The Miz. So moving on, United States title match, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory. Shortest match of the night, clocked in under second shortest match of the night. 2 title matches clocked in under 5 minutes. This is one of them. I think it started last week on Raw. I think we're seeing the downfall of Austin Theory. And I love every second of it.
I also agree with that statement as well. When I forgot who said it. Roman. When Roman said to Theory, "Your daddy's gone," or I'm paraphrasing. I forgot exactly what he said.
Your daddy's not here anymore.
Yeah, your daddy's not here anymore. Right then and there, I mean, obviously they had to make some sort of connection to Vince leaving just to acknowledge that it happened. That was the 800-pound elephant in the room. But yeah, I agree. It just seems like they're going to do everything in their power to just bury Theory, and not because I don't think it's got anything to do with him. I think it's just guilty by association and ridding the company of Vince's grasp. And, we kind of saw it with this match. I was actually surprised that I texted my brother right before the match. I said, this is going to be like a 2-minute squash. And it was still kind of like a squash match, but they still made Theory look a little strong. Obviously used the briefcase and injured Lashley at the beginning of the match, but I'm surprised they even let him do that, to be honest with you. But maybe they just don't want to rip all of the power away from, or the luster away from the briefcase, and they still want to make it like a threat. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is going to be something similar to I forgot who it was when they Brock came in and cashed in. Wait,
Yeah.
Somebody came in and cashed in, or I forgot the storyline because I've been a casual for a long time.
Are you talking about the Rollins from the
Are you
first
talking about
ever
when
Brock Roman?
Rollins
No, I'm
cashed
trying
in
to-
at WrestleMania?
No, I think I think somehow, some way, Theory's going to lose the briefcase. It was Otis,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
No. Well,
Yeah, Otis.
The Otis and
when Otis
yeah.
lost the briefcase last year, yeah, I could see that.
Correct. Yeah, something like that, because I think that they still view him as a mid-carder. He's too young to get the push that he needs to right now. And Triple H has strong connections with the actual talent that's on this roster. And I think we're going to start seeing it. But yeah, I'm talking longer than the match was, so I'm going to stop.
Yeah, let's not forget also Theory was one of those names mentioned in the Me Too, the speaking out scandal that hit wrestling. And I think that's another reason why fans don't want him shoved down people's throats and are happy to see that maybe changing.
Yeah.
So moving on from the U.S. title match. Oh, Derek?
No, I was just going to say, I thought it was a good, I don't know how to say it, but it was like a version of a squash match that was proper. Like, I felt like Bobby dominated, but also, again, Austin Theory got his shots in, and that's what it needed to be. And it was short, and it was good. Let's, clean up shop and go home for that one. I loved it.
So moving on to the first of two tag team matches. The Mysterios versus Judgment Day. And I will say, they have taken all the momentum out of Judgment Day already. You have back-to-back losses to Rey Mysterio and his son. Again, I think that's a Triple H thing because I think he sees guys like Finn Balor and Damian Priest as single stars that shouldn't be shoehorned into a tag team. So I think that's kind of heading in the right direction with heading to a potential split. Because Balor's easily a guy that you could have carry a mid-card title and elevate it and win a heavyweight title down the line. Damian Priest looks like a ready-made world heavyweight champion.
See, I'm going to have to disagree with you on there. And I know that we could have like an argument on like another podcast for a longer period of time. I feel like Damian is the quintessential Vince ideal candidate for future stardom. As far as, I think I shared the article with you guys at Slice Wrestling on Twitter. Very, very in tune with the workings behind what's going on. And he had written an article that there's a lot of mention of Finn Balor getting a huge push and possibly bringing back the demon character. So to your point, yeah, I think that Judgment Day has met its maker.
I would like to throw in that I'm not against the Finn Balor demon character, but if he was going to do the face paint and the body paint, I would rather him do like he did in New Japan and just rock it for like a WrestleMania, which would be their equivalent of Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Instead of like a supernatural type of character.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a shift away from the supernatural as well.
Yeah, 100%. I thought this match was a lot of fun. I mean, I love Rey Mysterio. I have great memories of Rey Mysterio growing up, and I feel like we just haven't been able to see that Rey, to be honest with you. He's been beaten down and abused, in his time back in WWE. This was kind of the first time I've watched a Rey Mysterio match that I felt like he was able to actually go out, do what he wants to do, and I had so much fun watching Rey just go out there and do what he does. I mean, I thought it was fantastic. I think the match overall was really good. Obviously, the father and son spots are always going to be there. I thought they were executed well. Judgment Day, yes, has become very minimal of a threat, but I thought overall the match was good. Edge coming back was crazy. Short hair Edge. Obviously, we knew it was going to be Edge, but just that entrance, the Brood style running down, spear, just nuts. I thought it was pretty cool. It was one of my highlights of the night, just for that reason.
It definitely gave me Attitude Era vibes again, and to hear the Brood music once again. I thought that's what they were planning on doing originally when they linked up Edge and Priest. I thought they were going to do like a new Brood. So I love that they still stuck with the reds, the blacks, and that Brood gimmick in the song. And then the like that. Oh, when you hear that breath, like it's just, dude, you know it's coming. And entrance was great. It was just phenomenal.
When you hear that Brood theme, you either have like chills down your spine, or you have you pop, because you know it reminds you of the Attitude Era, especially someone like you, Slark, who grew up in that era and got to watch it in its entirety.
Man, I was scared of Gangrel like as a kid. So yeah, it was awesome.
So after that match was the Pat McAfee and Happy Corbin match, and Pat McAfee continues to impress me. He is fantastic in the ring. There is a couple moves he almost botched. That Canadian Destroyer at the end took my breath away. I thought he was going to break his neck. But McAfee looked good. Another nice match. That running, like jumping on the turnbuckle suplex is becoming a staple of his matches. I love it. He's definitely a guy that if he's booked right under Triple H, if they try to keep him in the ring and still save him for special occasions, he could potentially main event a pay-per-view. It might not be a big 4 pay-per-view, but he could main event like a B show, a Fastlane, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine Pat McAfee in a Hell in a Cell match or a steel cage match.
Yeah. Well, he's already been in War
Games. The athletic things
right.
that he can do.
Yeah, like do McAfee and Rollins or something like that.
Oh, that's right. He was in War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's awesome, man. I listen to his podcast listen to his show all the time, and dude is just great. I've watched his stand up, and he's just like he's just a Midwest guy, and I think that's what resonates with me, and probably with you guys as well, being from Ohio. It's Pat McAfee. So, when you get to see him do the Swanton, Swanton by Bamboni? Is that what he calls it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It amazes me. He looks like if Stone Cold were to do high flyer moves.
Oh, dude, I'm glad you said that and you mentioned Stone Cold, because here's the thing. The term over is very much overused in today's era of professional wrestling. You'll get people who get some cheers, and you'll listen to a podcast. Oh my gosh, they're over. No, Pat McAfee is over. When everybody in the crowd stands up and cheers and sings along and pops. I mean, McAfee goes up on the top rope. Everybody's on their feet. McAfee does any sort of big spot. Everybody's on their feet. He is what you should be using as the standard for over. Like, that is the goal for any professional wrestler.
To piggyback off what you're saying, it's much like how Jericho in AEW, it doesn't matter if they book him as a heel or a face. Mm-hmm. Everybody's singing Judas on the way to the ring. Everybody. He's always over in AEW. He's been over. He's one of the best ever.
Giving him 7 Nation Army, best choice they could have made.
Yeah.
Great theme song. At least did he tonight have a different one?
No, he had a different one tonight, but yeah.
Okay.
He had
I did miss his entrance.
Oh, his entrance was a choir singing Bum Ass Corbin, and then it broke into his
that's
entrance
hilarious.
Song.
Yeah. Moving on from the McAfee match, the Usos versus Street Profits, undisputed tag titles. JEFFJARRETT Jarrett, special guest referee. I don't know why. It makes no sense, but whatever.
He's from Tennessee.
Oh yeah, he's from Tennessee, but anything for a guitar shot and a wild slapnuts appearance, I'll take. I half expected this man to go out there, hit all 4 competitors with the guitar and the stroke, and win the titles himself. Just throw back to the old TNA Reign of Terror Jeff Jarrett. That's what I
You know what?
wanted.
If Vince was still here, that may have happened.
Yeah, maybe.
This match was, I mean, anytime the Usos and the Street Profits get in the ring together, you are going to watch an awesome match. Anytime. I did like the aspect of the possible hint of a heel turn.
I'm glad you picked that up because I was going to mention that.
Yeah, Derek, I know that this is something that you'd probably like to talk about, so yeah, I will defer to you. But that was my favorite part of the match when he got up and in Jarrett's face, and I was like, okay, they're gonna possibly either turn as a team, or they might be in the middle of a breakup. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, dude, first of all, to your first point, I should say, whenever these two teams get in the ring together, it's magic. I mean, it is absolutely spectacular. The raw athleticism on both sides, Jimmy and Jay, and then the Street Profits combined. I mean, they work off of each other so well. It's kind of like the New Day and the Usos few years ago. Every match they had was just out of the park home run. And same thing here tonight. I thought it was really good. But to talk about what you mentioned, that slight hint of a heel turn, I've kind of noticed a little bit of that on Raw, just with some minor stuff. But tonight was the first night where, they had to zoom in on Montez Ford's face. And I've said it. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast. That dude is going to be I almost dropped an F-bomb. I don't know if we can on this podcast, but a effing superstar. He has everything you could possibly want. He has the look, he's got the mic, he's got the in-ring. The dude is a star. And if they turn him heel, I don't know how he would work as a heel, but that's a guy that can pull it off. That's a guy who can step in, build him up, have him, ride the way to the top, and that dude can be your main champion. He can be the WWE champion or whatever it's called at that time for 3 to 4 months and carry the company. He's that good.
He has the move set as well. He's already got a finisher that nobody can pull off. There's only 2 people that could pull off a frog splash as a finisher, and it's Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam. All the other ones are just a frog splash, right? I mean, D'Lo got some air back in the day, D'Lo Brown, but you have this style of finisher, and then you have this athleticism, and you just have this poise, and he kind of has this little bit of arrogance to him too. Kid is going to be a star for sure, and to see him in matches with the likes of like AJ or
oh my gosh,
like can you imagine AJ and Montez Ford in a 15-minute match?
And he's beefed up too. That's the thing. It's not like he was the old Montez Ford where he was exciting and fun. No, the dude looks like he should be competing in the main event. Like that's what he is now.
I agree.
Yeah, I noticed the zoom in and all that, and Ford's set to. He's going to be a star within the next year. He might get a star-making moment at the Royal Rumble, maybe WrestleMania, maybe somewhere, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. So, to the actual shortest match of the night, the SmackDown Women's Title match, Liv Morgan over Ronda Rousey. I think if Liv loses that match, Nissan Stadium would riot because to end her title reign that quickly, I know Derek would riot. Derek would probably rip his TV off the wall and throw it out the window. But yeah, that was a solid, quick match. That's what you need. I'm surprised Rousey lost in under 5 minutes. But at the same time, Liv's the hottest champion you have in the company right now in terms of being over with the fans. So you got to.
But did Ronda lose? But did Ronda lose? That is the question. Because as we saw at the end of that match, Liv was tapping to Ronda's armbar when the ref hit 2. not after he hit 3, which is going to obviously keep the storyline going and give her a couple more matches. But I think they're playing in the way of refs make mistakes. This is starting to become a little bit of a theme with professional wrestling. It's not, refs are just blind anymore to everything, and we'll just blindly count 1, 2, 3. It's now, oh, we made a mistake, we're going to address the mistake. Hence why they got the match between the Street Profits and the Usos tonight, because of a ref's mistake. So I think we're gonna get something similar, possibly a Clash at the Castle. If not, I think maybe, and this could just be a casualty of Vince booking versus Triple H booking. They may be moving away from Liv Morgan. So just I'm not saying that I want that to happen, but just keep that in your mind that may be pivoting away now that Triple H has his grasp on the company.
Yeah, I mean, first things first. I have to say, my girl Liv Morgan looked fine as tonight. I mean, she, I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm not on my Caden shit tonight. But anyway, the match itself was it was all right. That's my least favorite match of the night. The visual was pretty interesting, I'll say that much. But I don't the ending leaves, I guess, some suspense, but overall I don't know. I felt that Liv could have had a lot more offense, in my opinion. Like, it seemed like they really just came out there and had Ronda do all the Ronda stuff and just made Liv look like a weak champion. And I did not like that. I think if you give these opportunities, let them have some offense. Let them look like they deserve to be there. That was my only problem with it.
Can I say something real quick about that? And Tony, I don't mean to jump in before you. I think that they just book Ronda wrong.
Yes.
Ronda's a fighter. Ronda's an MMA fighter. She's not a wrestler. While she has wrestling and MMA, she's not a professional wrestler. So every time she goes in there to have these types of matches, it just doesn't look right to me when Ronda smacks her arms and then her thighs and then jumps and like puts her hands up like she's going to get ready to fight somebody. That's not who she is. Now, when Ronda first came in, I thought they were going to book her as the badass that just comes and beats everybody up. They still can do that, but they're going to need to put her against people that can actually hang with her in a fight style match. Liv, I think they did the right thing by like having her, get to the ropes and get out of the counts. But I'm not really interested in seeing another 5-minute match like this. I think Liv is more talented than that. But on the same, or on the flip side of the coin, I just think Ronda in these matches doesn't work to the eye, if that makes sense. It doesn't look like it's as smooth as, say a Bianca and Becky match.
Yeah, and I would agree with that completely. This might sound silly on the surface. They need to book Ronda's matches like they'd be booking an Undertaker match. Absolutely. A guy who's going to stand up and brawl with you. They don't need to book her as a takedown wrestler. They have the blueprint with Brock if you take out the wrestling. Just a guy who's going to stand up and just punch and kick and try and submit you. Like, you're not going to wrestle. You shouldn't book Rousey in a wrestling takedown type of match. Just have her go out there, get her shots in, throw some arm bars, throw some hip tosses, some judo stuff, set up submissions. That'd be perfect.
They should book her like a female. You're not going to get a wrestling
Blackman. Classic. Yes, the Lethal Weapon Steve Blackman.
They should have booked her as a female Steve Blackman or Ken Shamrock rather than
another name, Dan Severn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's who they should model her after with her background rather than like I understand, Roddy Piper. Sorry, it's tough to try and distinguish the two. So Roddy Piper versus Rowdy Ronda Rousey. I mean, yeah, Piper was a brawler and things like that, but like I said, until she gets a little bit more fluid in the ring and more experience in wrestling matches, they should book her as an enforcer, kind of like a China type back in the day.
Yes. Rousey will never reach the heights of Piper. Piper had one thing that Rousey cannot seem to grasp, and that is charisma.
Charisma and
you know, whether Piper was, shooting off a fire extinguisher in your face or hitting you with a coconut, which may have led to some other things that Jimmy Snuka did, but we're not going to go into that on this podcast. But yeah, he has charisma. He either makes you love him or makes you hate him, and that's what was so great about Roddy Piper. And Rousey just can't live up to that. And I think that Rowdy nickname is dragging her down because she's just living in his shadow.
I agree. I think they could definitely rebrand her. And obviously Heyman has the bloodline right now, and he's the advocate for the tribal chief. But somebody like Heyman, introducing Ronda to every match, like a Brock was back, for however many years he did. If she had an advocate like him, she talked less on the mic and she focused on just the enforcer aspect of her style. She could be the scariest woman wrestler in the entire company.
Should be of all time.
She should be, yeah.
So to move on to the one that everyone's probably waiting for, what the hell was that last man standing match? We seen the tractor, we seen the ring get lifted off its braces. The greatest last man standing match I've ever seen.
Brock Lesnar always gets to have fun with messing with the rings. He always gets to have fun with messing with the rings.
This brand new Brock Lesnar, this happy, carefree, letting him do what he wants, Brock Lesnar. 5 years ago, you never could have looked at Brock and thought, oh, he's going to have a comedy aspect to his character and everyone's going to love it. And now he's, walking out of the ring in flannels and cowboy hats and with a man bun and killing it. It's the best run of his career. Great match. I think the right guy went over. I know a lot of people are starting to hate that Roman's been the champion for 7 years, it feels like. But I think they're saving a moment for Cody Rhodes or Montez Ford. Because how many more times are people going to want to see? Yeah, Braun Breaker. But how many more times are people going to want to see Lesnar and Reigns just play hot potato with the title?
Yeah.
So they're saving that moment for a true star-making moment for somebody.
And I agree with you. I think the right guy went over. Obviously, the aesthetics of the match, watching the ring get lifted up and watching Roman fall out on the other side was just pure gold for me. And I popped like I was watching, the beer truck, the milk truck, Shane McMahon's high flyer moves from back in the day. I was
Stone
a kid.
Cold when he filled Vince's Corvette with cement.
That was a professional wrestling moment that I'm never going to forget.
Dude,
that was awesome. That was amazing.
The visuals from that entire match, between the tables, the however many tables there were, fighting out in the crowd, Heyman through the announce table, burying Brock, the freaking ring, half of it being in the air, the tractor.
Was anybody else, real quick about the ring, was anybody else kind of worried when anybody went near the backside of the ring?
Yeah.
So it brought in this realism aspect to that match. It was oh man, if that thing falls, somebody's getting hurt.
Yeah.
I honestly thought at first he was going to flip the whole ring over, and I'm like, wait, he can't do that. He'll kill some fans. My favorite part of the match was watching Austin Theory try and cash in and then just get destroyed. That's going to become a running joke on this podcast when we do wrestling episodes. I am going to make fun of Austin Theory because I hate him. I don't know why. It's his face. He's got such a punchable face.
It's because he's got that mustache and that little soul patch. If he shaved, he'd be fine, but he'd look too much like Cena. So that's why they don't.
Well, here's the interesting conversation that I want to talk to you about, Slark, because we talked about this beforehand. How do they take that briefcase off of him? Because I thought what was going to happen tonight was that he was in a situation. I didn't think the ring would be destroyed, but I
Right.
thought in a situation where they're both borderline beaten, he was going to come down, try to cash in, almost like Rollins did, but fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fail to pin both, and then just end up falling short. That's what I thought, but he still got it. He's still holding on to it.
So I didn't know how that aspect was going to work for two reasons. When I saw him come down, I was like, how the hell is he going to get anybody into the ring to pin them? That was the first thing I thought of, because Theory wasn't part of the last man standing
There was
match.
no ring.
So there's no ring. So how is he going to even cash in right now? That was my first thing. And then I was like, he's probably not going to. And then he handed it to the referee. I'm like, wait a second, is this going to happen? And then thank God they wrote it where Brock just picked him up and just gave him an F5 and like laid him out. Because I think I would have been very upset if he would have cashed in, because if he would have actually cashed in, I think that would have ruined the entire match. Regardless if he would have won or lost, it would have ruined everything that was awesome about this last match. I saw Dave Meltzer tweeting all pay-per-view long. I typically don't see his live tweets, and he has to give some credit where credit is due with this entire card, this pay-per-view, and especially this last match. I know it's not a typical wrestling match, but that was a 5-star match.
That last man standing match is 5 stars, no Tokyo Dome type of match. And incredible. Like I said, one of the best last man standing matches I've ever seen. And speaking of Dave Meltzer and 5-star matches, what do you think? Think about what All Out's going to be like. Think about WTV. They're going to have to step up their competition. They're going to put bangers on every week.
Yep, we talked about this on the last episode.
Yeah.
Just wait till this Monday.
Yeah, we did.
Monday,
it's going to be incredible to be a wrestling fan.
This Monday is really, in my opinion, and you guys can disagree if you want, the first time that Triple H has an opportunity to sit down with a pen and paper and say, all right, what feuds are ended, what feuds are starting, what are we doing, what's the direction? Because SummerSlam, it's not as big as the Raw after WrestleMania as far as changes go, but you could say it's the runner-up. So he's got this pen and paper now, in my opinion, with a blank sheet for a lot of guys, other than a few. I think, like we talked about, Paul and Miz, I think they're going to continue. I think, we'll see what happens as far as like the SmackDown Women's Championship and that whole situation. But aside from that, Roman's going to have a new opponent. Bobby Lashley's got to have a new opponent. Montez Ford and Dawkins, they're teasing that. The Usos are probably going to have a new opponent. Like, there's just so many blank things that Triple H now has the ability to write out, and I'm pumped for tomorrow night.
It's not tomorrow night. It's Monday night.
Sorry, Monday night.
No, that's fine. And I was just going to say to that point, I wish this was Sunday night, because I don't want to wait a full day to see how the next.
I'm excited
how
for
the
no,
next
but you get to watch
out.
Ric Flair die tomorrow.
Jeez, man. I can watch the wrestler.
Since we brought up booking, to segue, we are going to have some episodes coming up. Like, I know Slark has mentioned this in the past. Slark wants to do some fantasy booking or some.
Man, I don't even know what to do anymore.
Let's call it.
Everything's changed.
It's like part. Right, it's fantasy booking, but it's revisionist booking as well, because you can always go back and rebook things that WWE royally screwed up.
Absolutely.
And just make them better. And we're going to have a few episodes of that. So if that's something you love, make sure you tune in.
And then to your point, and I think we mentioned this last week, but I had mentioned I would love to see Raw go back to 2 hours until after the first match when Bayley came out, and then you saw Dakota Kai come out. And then he saw Io Shirai come out, and I was like, wait a second. If Triple H is digging into his NXT bag of goodies, I want as much wrestling on TV because he is going to find a way to make every single one of these storylines good and
So-
not filler.
Not to cut you off, but I just went on Instagram and there's a clip of Brock Lesnar crawling back into that ring. And he's climbing it like a mountain, and he puts on the cowboy hat and he just like takes it off in front of Nashville. That's a hilarious
I
visual.
gotta watch that.
I'll try to send
So
it
I
to you
think-
if I can.
I think that about wraps it up for us here today. We were actually planning to make this about a 25-minute thing. We are at minute 40 right now, which doesn't bother me. I love talking wrestling with these guys. Going to do this a lot more often. We're also going to talk football, baseball, hockey, whatever. Just we're going to have people on and just bullshit some episodes. This is a great concept. I could talk to Slark all day. I could talk to Derek all day about anything. Me and Derek will actually be at the AEW event on Wednesday in Columbus. There will be a vlog coming out for that, so keep your eyes open for that. And I think we'll just wrap it up here. You guys got anything else you want to say or plug or?
I just want to say again, Liv Morgan. I don't know if you're single, but DMs are open.
To that,
I gotta stop.
I'm very excited to see how these next shows pan out. This is going to be. I told you once I was excited, but now we got to see the first taste, and this is the first time in a very long time I've been happy with an entire card on a Big Four pay-per-view. This is going to be awesome.
So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Slark has a podcast as well called the Oh Brother Podcast. Check that out. To Slark, tell them where they can find that.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at O_brotherpod, POD. You can find me O Brother Pod on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find me other places as well. But yeah, SlarkDawg87 is the personal account on Twitter as well. And then obviously follow Offsides so we could continue to collaborate and give you this type of content.
Derek has a YouTube channel, DF Sports. You can find it on YouTube. Great content. Follow us all on Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Me and Derek. Follow Browns After Dark. All the After Darks. Offsides. Yes, follow Offside Sports. We are doing some amazing things over there. I will link the social medias in the description. If you love sports, you love just hanging out with friends, joking around, having a good time, that's what Offsides is all about. It's way more than a sports company or a sports network. I don't want to make comparisons, but it's the next, it's the next big thing in sports, in my opinion. Like, I'm going to hype it up because I love the direction it's heading. It's not your typical sports network. It's not your typical all business, all we talk is sports. We have fun. Slark, anything you want to add to that? Slark makes amazing graphics for everything. If you need a graphic designer, Slark's your guy.
Appreciate that.
If you need someone with a broken shoulder, Derek's your guy. Like, it just...
Yep. It comes full circle, don't it?
But yeah, it's this has been fun, and just these relationships that we've built in the past couple months, and the ones that we're building now. We're trying to do things by the fans for the fans, and stay away from what media dictates us to listen to and watch.
All right.
Yeah.
Everyone have a great night. Stay tuned for more content. Thank you if you made it to this point. Really appreciated. See ya.
Go Cavs.